The movie begins at a Halloween party, where a guy named Eric gathers the courage, after a drink, to finally tell his crush, Ava, how he feels. But just then, another guy pulls up in a car, and Ava immediately becomes attracted to him. Disappointed, Eric quietly walks away to a corner. At that moment, Eric notices a mysterious box behind him. From it emerges a strange clown wearing a creepy mask. The Jester. The Jester tries to remove his mask, but even after taking it off, his real face underneath looks exactly the same, as if the mask has now become his true face. Using a magic trick, he lights a candle. A little while later, he appears at the party and performs another magic trick, wrapping Eric in a cloth and suddenly making him vanish. But within seconds, everyone gasps in horror when they see Eric's body hanging from a noose. The entire party descends into chaos and screams, but the Jester doesn't care. Laughing, he walks away into the city in search of his next victim. Now, we meet a girl named Max, who is getting ready for Halloween dressed as a magician. Her little sister Zoe is dressed as a ninja. Max also wants to go trick-or-treating with her sister, but their mom tells her, "Max, you're too old for that now. Hang out with your friends, or just stay home and watch some horror movies." Then she takes Zoe with her and leaves. Since Max doesn't really have any close friends, she sadly rides off alone on her bike. Meanwhile, the Jester captures another man on the street and begins pulling long strings of handkerchiefs from his mouth using a magic trick. Finally, he pulls a playing card out from the man's stomach and kills him, then burns the card to ashes using his candle. Later, Max stops by a cafe where she meets a waiter who turns out to be one of her old schoolmates. But nearby, a group of girls at another table start laughing at her costume. Suddenly, the Jester appears, sits right in front of Max, and politely begins showing her a card trick. But before the trick could be completed, Max figures out how it's done and performs it herself, outsmarting the Jester. Angry and embarrassed, the Jester storms off. Max also walks outside, only to find that a boy has punctured her bicycle tire just to tease her. Feeling upset, she starts crying and even throws her hat into the trash can. Meanwhile, 3 mischievous friends wandering the streets spot the Jester sleeping and decide to prank him. But the Jester wakes up and begins showing them his card tricks. This time, however, even after trying twice, he fails to guess the card the kids picked. So the 3 friends laugh and assume he's just a drunk man walking away. Out of rage, the Jester ends up stabbing them, but one girl manages to escape. He then tries to burn a card with his candle again, but no matter how hard he tries, the card won't catch fire, as if his magic has stopped working. Max goes to a magic shop to meet her friend Willie, who used to teach her magic. Sad and frustrated, she says, "I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. The other kids treat me so badly." Willie encourages her and gives her a magic wand, saying, "The real magic isn't in the wand, it's in the magician's hands." Using her sleight of hand, Max unlocks the handcuffs on her wrist, surprising Willie. Confidence begins to shine in her eyes again. But as soon as she steps outside, the Jester appears once more. He smiles when he notices she isn't wearing a hat, takes off his own, and gently places it on her head, making Max smile too. Then he walks over to the kids who had bullied Max and uses his magic trick to pull down the pants of the boy who had punctured her bike, making everyone laugh as the boy runs away in embarrassment. The Jester looks back at Max and smiles, as if to say he's taken her revenge for her. He then returns to her and hands her the magic wand, as if telling her, "See, there really is magic in your wand." Slowly, Max starts to feel a strange sense of comfort and connection with him. The Jester signals for her to go trick-or-treating with him. Max hesitates at first. She's not a little kid anymore. But then she agrees. They arrive at a woman's house, and before taking any candy, Max, at the Jester's prompting, performs a card trick to impress the woman. Then the Jester touches the woman's face with his magic wand and freezes it, as if all the life has been sucked out of her. Terrified, Max runs away, while the Jester stands there smiling. As the woman dies, this time he succeeds in burning that card with his candle. Then he chases after Max. Max somehow runs up to a man and asks for help, but the Jester distracts the man by knocking his son down, and he also grabs Max's inhaler. Max runs with all her strength and hides behind a trash bag, but she starts gasping heavily. The Jester finds her by the sound of her breathing and hands her the inhaler. Just then, Max sees Eric's corpse girl in front of her. They arrived back at the very place where the story started. Max's attempt to escape fails. She asks the Jester, "What's happening?" But he says nothing. Max tries to communicate with him using an Ouija board. The Jester answers on the board, "I don't want to kill you. I need you, because you're like me." Then, speaking through Eric's dead body, he reveals the truth. "I used to be just an entertainer. One day death came for my soul, and I made a deal with death to stop it from taking me. But the deal had a horrific condition. Every Halloween night before my candle burns out, I must trap 4 souls with my tricks and hand them over to death." The Jester tells Max, "I tricked death myself. I sent it to many souls. But you tricked me, so now you must perform tricks in front of people so I can kill them and give their souls to death." Max panics and refuses, but the Jester shows her that if she doesn't give death 4 souls, he himself will burn to ash, and then the curse will fall on her. Max had no way out now. Out of desperation, she agreed to help the Jester, but even then, with her quick hands, she secretly stole Eric's phone from his dead body. Later, Max chose her next target, the same boy who had punctured her bicycle. She sat next to him in the park and started showing him a magic trick. But the boy apologized for what he did and said, "Maybe I only did it to impress those girls." Feeling guilty, he looked sad. Seeing this, Max's heart softened. She didn't want to finish the trick anymore. But then, the boy somehow pulled out the card he had chosen, and that summoned the Jester. Max screamed, "No, don't kill him!" But the boy, angry about his earlier humiliation, attacked the Jester first. The Jester used his magic to trap him inside his jacket. Max begged him to let the boy go, but the Jester ruthlessly killed him anyway. Pretending to feel sick, Max secretly dialed 911. As the Jester moved on to his next target, 2 police officers arrived at the scene and asked, "Does anyone here have a phone?" The Jester calmly denied it. But Max took out the phone and showed it to them. The cops realized she was the one who had called for help. One officer immediately tried to handcuff the Jester, but he magically broke free and used the same handcuffs to slice off the officer's hands. The second officer shot at him, but the Jester killed her too. In the chaos, Max managed to escape and ran for help. She told a man, "Someone kidnapped me. He's after me." The man led her into his car and started driving toward the police station. But after a while, he stopped the car, and his intentions turned bad. Max fought back and bit his hand hard, but that only made him angrier. Just then, the Jester appeared, killed the man brutally, and pulled Max out of the car. But Max started having an asthma attack. Her inhaler was already broken. The Jester quickly carried her to a nearby fire station, where firefighters helped her breathe again. Max panics and tells them to run, but the Jester hears her and attacks from behind, brutally killing all 3 firemen. Max hides under a truck, but the Jester drags her out and shows her his candle. Max refuses to help him anymore, uses one of her tricks, and manages to escape. Somehow, she makes it back home. Her mother is waiting for her there, but she's furious that Max stayed out so late. Max apologizes and says, "Mom, I love you," because she realizes this might be the last time she'll ever see her mother. She goes upstairs, quietly says goodbye to her little sister who's asleep, but suddenly she sees the Jester in her sister's room too. Terrified, Max calls for her mom, but the Jester has already killed her. Speaking through her mother's dead body, the Jester threatens Max, saying if she doesn't do what he says, he'll kill her sister too. To save her sister, Max has no choice but to obey him. Now the Jester has only one victim left. For her final trick, Max chooses the same waiter from the cafe. They both find him outside the cafe, and Max distracts him with her magic, asking him to pick a card. But this time, she cleverly turns the trick on the Jester himself and says, "The 4th soul will be yours, offered to death." Enraged, the Jester seals the waiter's mouth shut and grabs Max by the throat. But suddenly, the candle goes out, and the Jester starts to burn. Even while burning, he furiously stabs Max in the leg with a knife. Max crawls over and uses the same knife to cut open the waiter's sealed mouth. But the jester grabs her again, so Max drives her magic wand straight into his eye. Finally, the jester is completely consumed by the flames and destroyed. However, his hat remains perfectly intact. Moments later, the police cover the entire area. Max's friend Willie comes to see her. Max tells him, "I did the trick," and keeps repeating, 4 tricks, 4 souls every year, which means the jester's curse has now passed on to Max. From now on, every Halloween, she'll have to offer 4 souls to death. And with that, the movie ends. Hope you enjoyed the story. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.